Welcome to a how to make the most efficient base, at least that we found in the console version. You may see that we have a really flat spot picked out, and we're going to dig down so that we can put all our forges and everything else in there. Don't mind the house, it's a tutorial video. So we dug a hole. You see Lee is doing the digging, and she was smart enough to put some frames around to mark where she wants to be. She's 4 deep from the earth. In this alpha, they don't dig, so basically we're not going to put a floor in. What's down there will be down there. She'll probably fill in the spots that are there with the frames you see where the shovel doesn't work very well, or the auger. Sometimes they do a little extra. Anyway, she'll probably fill those in with some concrete blocks, and then she's going to do the walls with concrete blocks, and then we'll tell you the next step after that. So as you see, Lee is putting some concrete blocks down. We're just doing this as a tutorial, so we're not going super crazy on mining. It's not that hard to do this. You can do it with wood. We like to do these 4 high. We just keep the ground as to whatever it is. And the reason we do that is so that you have enough space. You can actually only go 3 down and be just fine doing the same. Or if you want to have 3 high walls and a ground, then you'll need to dig 5 down instead of 4. So now we're going to make a floor, and we like to do our hatch and our ladder in the center. So we always go around the outside, and then when you start to get to the center, you can kind of math out where you're going to be. So as you see, we have our floor in, and now we're going to put our ladders and then a hatch over that ladder once they're all built in. And you don't have to worry about doing this one off the ground because there should never be a zombie get in here.
Well, this one might be one off the ground just because I can't hit the hole.
So when we put the hatch down, you always want the hinge to be on the opposite side of the ladder. So on the wood ones, you can see it really well. The handle's right in front of you, ladder's in front. Because if you do it any other direction, you almost can't get down. And then when you open it, it should open opposite side of the ladder. Boom, now you can go down it. It's a lot easier and to come back out too. So now we have to start building our fighting position up here. The down below would be where we put all our forges and everything. This will essentially be a horde base while our regular base is down below. We like to go 4 high here or 3 high. You can do either. Now that we have our corners up, the top will be the roof so that we have plenty of room. If you do go 3, we'll show the difference there in a minute. But now we want to do our wedge tips. You want to go to your menu so you can see what those are actually called. So these are, we just did the creative mode, but these are wedge tips, not the ramps. The tips are important instead of the ramps, just the tip. So Lee will show you what we do there. You always want them to face in just like this. This will create a pathing issue when we get that far. Now that we have our wedge tips in, we'll go ahead and do just the frame of the roof. So we'll connect the tops, and then that way we can start showing you what the difference is between 3 high and 4 high when we get to the pole. Now you can make this as big as you want, but just keep in mind if you go more than 6 wide without a column under it on the 7th one, then it will collapse. In this alpha, you do have to keep it within 6, and even then you're kind of getting on this whole idea of possibly having some issues. We've had some freak things happen where they collapse and other times they don't, so we keep it this small for most purposes. So now that we have our frame in, we just did that so we could show you. We're on the concrete poles. Again, you can use any pole frames. There are wood pole frames upgrade. You get a lot more experience that way too. And Lee will show you the orientation they need to be in when you do these. And you want them on the inside bottom of that block. So that way, and then run straight across. If you were to only go 3 high, this is the only one you'd have to do. The problem that you run into there is when you start getting ferals, the ferals will start damaging your top block. So now, since we went 4 high, we would go on the second beam. Now we have 2 spots to hit. Crawlers will get stuck on this bottom hole. Regular zombies will get stuck right about there. And then Mo and Lester are kind of annoying because their heads are like right where that second pole is. Same problem if you only go 3 high and that's your roof. But the ferals' heads will usually be above that second pole. So as you see, we got all 4 sides done. We left a gap so that we can go back in and out for now. And now we're going to build our roof. And the roof has a bit of a special specification, but it's pretty much exactly the same as the floor. So you have a ladder that goes in. However, You want to make sure that your ladders don't line up. It's doable. You can still go up and down them, but they're kind of annoying if you do line them up directly. So you'll want to put your ladder somewhere slightly different. So we got our roof on. We got our ladder up. We got a hatch up. You want to show them how it's off center. So yeah, if you have it directly over, what ends up happening is you kind of get stuck in between sometimes. We had a playthrough where that was an issue. Anyway, now she can go up. She's got her hatch. Right, this protects you just in case there are spider zombies that get up there, but we'll show you a way to stop that too. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to put one more rim, just one level, on the border of this. And the reason for that is so we can have a garden up here, right? It's all about efficiency. The problem is if you go all the way on the outside with these, then it affects the weight load. Most of the problems we've had is when we put heavy blocks as a skirt instead of using iron bars, which we'll show you that later as a way to keep the spider zombies out. So now that we have our border up around the whole thing, we'll put in our fertilized land. You do want to put it on top. In this game, it does have to see the sun. There are ways to manipulate that, by the way. You could make like a Colosseum type thing, and what ends up happening there is you just need to leave one tiny little window of light to hit the whole garden, and it'll actually still grow. It's not as efficient, though. So we've got it planted. We use corn just so you could see it, but we actually ended up building 6x7 instead of 6x6 in the center, so what was usable space. So we have 40 plots up here, and now we'll show you basically how to keep the spider zombies out. Iron bars are by far the best, and they don't weigh nearly as much. So you can put them on the roof layer, you can put them on your garden layer, it's really up to you. It's probably easier if you do it at the roof layer, just so you can simply shoot them as they're trying to go up. These are kind of a pesky thing to put on, especially on the corners, because you'll have to line it up with the tiny little sliver that you're looking at. But the spider zombies can't climb over that, so that's the easiest way to go. And that looked so much easier than it usually is. Like, you lined up so nice.
It was an accident.
Nah, you're just good at it. So this is what your base will look like, pretty much. You've got your garden on top, you've got your horde base in the middle, and then you've got your crafting base on the bottom. If you don't want to have a whole lot of things attacking you, then you can actually put your base all the way down at bedrock. You have to just dig all the way down and then do the same thing, break out your area. If you do that, you can pretty much break out as big an area as you want. But however, if you want to do it this way, we do need one more thing. We need a way to get in. So you can use frames. Zombies generally won't attack your frames too much if they're not in the base. But you want to go 2 or 3 back and just make your little set of stairs. And you can even turn these into stairs if you want to upgrade them. We usually do. That way it's a little simpler. And this is really it. The zombies can come up this, but they can't jump, so they can't get across. And you go do-do-do, and this is how you get into your base. And then you just go down. You can have all your crafting down below. Now, if you do want to leave it this way, and you want to be just below the base, you can turn this into a screamer farm. So, we've got our screamer farm set up. A couple little tips. If you want, especially if you build a floor, you can put storage in the floor. You can also put it in the wall as you're building it. That's kind of convenient, to be honest. We actually just found this out, that you have 3 high. You can stack the forges on top of the chem stations. We didn't know that. So that's kind of cool. You cannot stack chem stations on top of each other, though. We had a series where we tried that, and it fell, and it was really sad. Anyway, so just to show you how this works, we're gonna... So as you can see, we have all the fires on, and we have zombies maxed out and on sane, just to see how this works. But, you know, if you're in a cold area, you get warm. Also, a cool thing is if you're up above your fires, if you're close enough, the little icon, when you stand over them, will also warm you. So you can warm yourself up here while you're doing a screamer farm. So as you can see, you got everybody's head. Mo's a little annoying. His head's a little bit below that bar, but they can't seem to hit the bars when they're running. And then you want to shoot somebody's legs in. So how they...
Oh, you said legs.
Yeah.
Sorry, got excited.
Yeah. But see, you get stuck the way the pathing in this works and the blocks. There's not enough block space for them to squeeze through. So he can't get through. So the way heat works in this game, it takes a minute for the screamers to build up, but there's one, what do you know, it takes a while. Anyway, this is also a really good melee base. You're gonna walk up, bam, right in the face. In most difficulties, that probably would have popped their head off. That's a level 524 Spike Club, but you can melee too. You do not need ammo for this base. You'll want to keep repair materials with you just in case. Keep bears out. Bears do so much damage. Mo's kind of a pain in the butt. He'll do some damage to that bottom row too. Ferals will hit the top row, but you don't get as many ferals. You just gotta watch them. That's it. You can just sit here and whack away all day. There's a head pop. By far the fastest way to level 2, by the way. As long as you've got the resources, you can just sit here and hammer down. Wow, look at how many Mo's there are. Back up just a touch. I just want to get all those Mo's in the picture. It's hilarious. Be a great screenshot. Yeah, you should mow them down with the AK. It'd be a great final clip. Oh, so many Mo's.